What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. Hopefully I can knock this video out before we lose the sunlight. What a week. Holy moly. Some big changes coming up, which hopefully is going to free up some of my time to make more of these videos for all you guys. This one, I want to talk about ego for a little bit. Man, I've had a couple of situations come up lately that it's been on my mind a bit, and I just wanted to kind of put this out there. Let me give you this situation that kind of brought all this up, because it's actually a really cool, interesting situation. Put a 12.5 ton split system in, American Standard split system in a little while back. Has the new Symbio controls on it. I have not seen these controls yet. The manufacturer just put the equipment out. Haven't had any training on it. So we put the equipment in, and then I went to start going and wiring up all the low voltage and looking through all the schematics, and man, crazy. I couldn't make heads or tails out of the control wiring on how to get all this thing hooked up right. So the issue is, I thought I had it right, and the issue I was having is that the blower motor on the air handler wouldn't stay on for more than about 3 seconds, but I'd still have a call for cool. And mind you, this is it's a 12.5 ton split system, 12.5 ton split system, 2 6-ton condensers on a dual circuit air handler. So it's a little tricky how to wire up the 2 outdoor machines to the 1 air handler on the low voltage side of things. So I have a problem with it. I call up tech support, get them on the phone, and they're like, dang, Scott, well, we're not real sure. Have you looked in the instruction booklet? I was like, oh, of course. I always read the installation packet on especially on a new piece of equipment that I'm not super familiar with. And I can't really make heads or tails of anything. And they're like, okay, well, we haven't really had training on this thing yet either. I was like, okay, so I don't know, and y'all don't know, but who knows how to hook this thing up? And so, pretty entertaining conversation with the manufacturer, the FSR guys at the manufacturer. And so, long story short, a couple of days later, the head tech support guy, he comes down to Corpus, and he's like, let's go over there, let's sit down, let's figure out how to get all this, wired up and test it and get everything all hooked up and working. I was like, awesome, man, that sounds great. So he shows up. We go over there. We spend about half a day kind of working out what to do, how to do it. We got the engineers on the phone from Tyler over at the Trane manufacturing plant, the guys that built the controls. They're helping walk us through it, kind of ironing out some little details that are missing in the installation packet for the equipment. So we get everything all hooked up, test it. It's working great. It's fantastic. Everything's super awesome. We jot down a whole bunch of notes. We make and come to find out, the gentleman that came down to help me, he drew out a nice little wiring schematic for this specific installation: 2 condensers to 1 air handler, all pieces of equipment having the controls, the Symbio controls, the new ones in there. And so, and I believe all that's going to be published in the new installation manual, or installation manual 2.0 or whatever. So that's kind of cool to be a part of that. It was a pretty neat process. And what it kind of highlighted, because he and I were chatting after we got all done with everything, and he and I were chatting, and he goes, and he said something that just kind of not really blew my mind. I know this because of how long I've been training guys and helping get guys to a point where they're starting to develop into really good technicians. So I see this a lot. But the number was kind of shocking. We were just kind of chatting for a minute about, how I basically called. I didn't blame it on the equipment. In fact, I said, man, I said, this is what it's doing, but I don't know if there's something wrong. I'm pretty sure I doubt there is, because it's a brand new machine. I don't think anything's broken. I just don't think I have it wired up right. I really don't. And I don't know how to wire it up. Which is, it's okay to admit stuff like that. When you're calling somebody for help, you're calling them for help for a reason. It's because you need help. And that's okay. It's okay to need help. You're never going to know everything. And I mean, this is my 21st year in the field, both installation and service for almost all these 21 years. And I still am going to stumble into stuff from time to time that I just simply need help figuring out. And what really highlighted maybe why this is what kind of shocked me, I guess, he was telling me, he's like, probably 90% of the phone calls that we get at the manufacturer on the tech support line, about 90% of those phone calls go something like this. And this is what he's telling me. He said, someone will call, it'll be on that particular piece of equipment, and they'll say, something's wrong with the machine, or something's broken on the machine. Might be a brand new machine, might be an older machine, whatever the case may be. And not too often do they get someone that calls and goes, I think I've done something wrong, or I don't know what I'm doing. Can you please help me? And when he said that, I guess I wasn't overly surprised, but what did kind of shock me a little bit was the percentage. When he said probably 90% of the phone calls that he takes is that. And I was like, whoa, 90%? That's a lot. I mean, you got to think these guys are taking probably 5, 10, 15 phone calls a day, maybe more than that during the middle of summer, and it's super busy. I don't really know, to be honest, but if they're anything like my phone, for all my service technicians that I support and all my install guys that I support, gosh, I'll go a day and get 5, 10 phone calls, from various areas of the field from all my guys. And so 90% of that, whoa, let's tap the brakes a little bit, and I get it. No one wants to admit that they don't know something, or maybe that they've done something wrong. Your pride and your ego is kind of a hard thing to swallow sometimes, and I get it. I've been there. Oh man, have I been there. I can think years back where I probably would have done the same thing. But I think the point that I want to make is it will make your service manager or your tech support guy or whoever that you're turning to for help in the field, or maybe even in the office, whatever the case may be. You can apply this all across the board in so many different areas, and even in like personal relationships. Man, this just applies to life in general. But specifically talking to tech support guys or your service manager or something, in my role as that, it will make my life easier and make tech support's life easier when you make that phone call. Just go, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. I'm not sure if I've done something wrong, whatever the case may be. And don't go off on a tangent of, this machine and this and that, blah, blah, blah. It kind of, it's an inefficient approach. It's not an efficient approach. Because my immediate response to you, if you call and tell me, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to say, okay, cool. Well, let's talk about it and let's work through whatever this situation is. And if need be, I'm going to come over there and we're going to walk through it together. Maybe I can do it over the phone. But what it tells me is that you're in a situation that you're unfamiliar with or you need help with. And so my mind is immediately going to a step-by-step process starting with the basics. And I want to get that out of the way so that in case you missed a very basic step, we're going to walk through that right off the bat. I'm not assuming that you've already done this or that or the other. I'm going to start very basic, and we're going to walk through this thing at a much more efficient pace to get to the root of whatever the situation is, problem, if you will. So, point of all that rambling on is lose the ego. Don't need it. It's not good for anybody. It's not helping you. It's not helping anybody else. There's no reason for it. I think it's just making your life and everybody else's life harder. And it takes a lot to do that, to swallow your pride sometimes and drop that ego. Aside from that, the other day that happened on that system, this is kind of funny. And I'll tell it on myself because I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I know what I'm capable of, and even then I'm going to make mistakes. This was a bit of an odd situation, and I'm going to do a video on this because I thought it was really cool, because if it's something I've seen before, I just don't remember it. And maybe I have, maybe I haven't, I don't know. But there was a polarity issue on a furnace that I misdiagnosed. And I know you're thinking, well, that's easy. You just flip-flop 2 wires, no big deal. Or maybe you have improper grounding, or, there's a good handful of things that'll throw that error code on a gas furnace. But this was a tricky one. And I'm going to do a video on this because it was very tricky. It was so tricky that I misdiagnosed it after one of my guys had gone out there and troubleshot it, and I went behind him to pop a new board on. Anyways, long story short, I'll get into that video. But at that moment, when I figured out that I had made a mistake, I had one of my service technicians standing there and the customer in the hallway, and I'm in there messing around with it, and I realized what just took place, and I went, oh my goodness, I misdiagnosed this the other day. I'm an idiot, and it's okay. And everybody gets a good laugh out of it, as long as it's not too terrible of a situation. The customer gets a little bit of a chuckle out of it, because people look at you like, you have all the answers. And when you can stand there in front of a customer and someone that really looks up to you as one of your technicians that you mentor, and you look at them and you go, guys, I made a mistake. I misdiagnosed this. Here's what's actually wrong. Let me repair it real quick. Everything's fixed. We're all good to go. Everybody's happy, healthy, safe. There's no problems. It was just my bad. It happens. So nobody's perfect. And I think that's a really cool place to get to in your life when you can step back and do that. It's really neat. I really like it. So I wanted to throw this out there to you guys. I hope you appreciate it and enjoy it and really learn to embrace that. And if you have any questions, or even if you just want to chat about this subject, because it's kind of a sensitive subject in some areas, please feel free, reach out. Let's talk about it. I'm always around. So, well, not always, and that's my big news is that this week, I'm gonna get into this a little bit more down the road, but going back out on my own, back out to this will be my third company that I'm starting, and it's going to be more geared towards training, teaching, videos, consulting, really high-end service work, which I think is cool. I think I'm going to be taking a lot of service calls that are just really in-depth, super hard service calls that hopefully I will be able to video a lot of and really get some good content out there. So I'm very, very excited for it. I cannot wait to have a little bit more time on my hands and my phone not ringing off the wall like crazy all day, and really be able to concentrate and do more of this stuff, because it's really fun, and I'm super excited about it. So I'll stop rambling on. Hope everybody has a great day or a great night whenever you're watching this, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and please subscribe. That helps out a lot, and we'll see you later.